First up for your VBHS news. Prom officially is a go. Here are some important updates.
Tickets are available on sale now during both lunches. Only juniors and seniors are eligible. Purchase these tickets for $20 a piece.
Sophomores, you can be invited, but you can't purchase your own ticket. If you haven't already gotten one, we'll see you at the tables next week during lunch.
Interested in learning a different language? At VBHS, students can take Spanish 1 through 4, French 1 through 3, or German 1 through 3. There are honors and AP options in Spanish level 2 and up. We also have Spanish 1 and 2 for heritage speakers.
One-semester courses include Conversational Spanish and Survey of World Languages and Cultures, which introduces all of these languages and more. If you have any questions, you can contact any of the language teachers. We'll post their email addresses in the description of our YouTube.
I'm Brandon Miller, flying solo this week, but this is still Pointer Pack News Sports. Starting off with the baseball team, they won both games at Mountain Home on Tuesday. Good job, boys. They played yesterday against Bentonville, and then they'll play next Tuesday at home, at the Field of Dreams, of course, against Alma in a doubleheader. The Pointer softball team will play at home tonight against Rogers, so good luck to them. How about the boys soccer team scoring a goal in the last 10 minutes of the game Tuesday against Siloam Springs and remaining undefeated on the season? They have yet to trail 1 second this season. Good job, boys. The girls soccer team is following suit this year as they're having a great season also with the big win over Alma last week. Go Dogs. As we look at the national news, the Texas Rangers had a sellout crowd with more than 38,000 people piling in the stadium with no COVID restrictions on opening day. This is one of the first full capacity crowds since, of course, COVID hit last year. I'm Brandon Miller with Pointer Pack News Sports.
In the U.S., the deadline for the U.S. to leave Afghanistan is a month away. Here's where things stand.
Will he withdraw now? Biden's history suggests he might personally favor a quick drawdown, as Vice President Harris argued for a smaller U.S. presence in Afghanistan that Barack Obama's military advisors wanted. As Vice President Biden argues a smaller U.S. presence in Afghanistan than Barack Obama's military advisors wanted. He lost that argument with Barack Obama. But now that Biden is in a position to decide, his outlook seems to have shifted. Biden has said that bringing roughly 3,500 U.S. soldiers home by May, a deadline Biden inherited from Donald Trump, would be logistically difficult.
Will he delay the move? The U.S. could extend its withdrawal by a few months while continuing to support peace talks between the Taliban and Afghanistan's democratic government. Biden appears to be leaning towards this option. We will leave. The question is when, he said last week. What if we stayed? Biden may conclude that some U.S. troops should stay in Afghanistan to support the Afghan military, which remains weak, and to help protect the imperfect but real gains in women's education and democracy the country has made since 2001.
Biden laid out his big gulp idea, a $2.3 trillion plan to revamp the country's roads, bridges, trains, schools, housing, electric grid, and lots more.
Four-part plans like these are what bullet points are made for. $620 billion for transportation projects such as transit, roads, airports, and more. That also includes $174 billion for electric vehicles.
$650 billion to improve your life at home, like investments in high-speed broadband and the electric grid.
$580 billion for manufacturing, because we know how much the supply chain needs support.
Given the size of the bill, the White House can't just put down its card and Venmo everyone later. To help pay for it, Biden wants to bump up the corporate tax from 21% to 28% and close out the other tax loopholes.
Biden will introduce Part 2 of his economic spending proposal in the next few weeks, called the American Family Plan. This one will focus on social infrastructure, including children relief and aid to low-income Americans.
More in the U.S. There is no middle ground. After some Republican lawmakers alleged voter fraud during the 2020 election, bills like Georgia's have been popping up in state and local legislators.
250 new voting laws have been proposed in at least 43 states, per Brennan Center in Justice. Stay up to date on this. It could affect you in your near future for your voting rights.
New York just got a little smokier. Last week, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo signed a legislation legalizing the recreational use of marijuana by adults, making New York the 15th state to do so.
Here are two big takeaways from this. First, now all marijuana convictions that would not have occurred had this law existed.
Second, the bill has provisions in place to keep the big corporations of the world from dominating mom-and-pop marijuana operations.
In some not-so-good news, 4 people, including a child, are dead after a shooting at an office building in Southern California, the third mass shooting in the U.S. in the past 16 days.
We do want to take a moment here and talk about the news and what we're seeing more and more of. Now that politics have shifted, So have most narratives at most news outlets.
These victims' stories should be heard. Just be wary of miscommunications that have been spread across news outlets, and make sure to have the correct facts whenever talking about it with other people.
For your COVID updates, Pfizer said that its vaccine was extremely effective in 12 to 15-year-olds with no symptomatic infections.
A mix-up at Baltimore factory manufacturing the Johnson & Johnson vaccine ruined 15 million doses, delaying future shipments. And unfortunately, France will enter its third national lockdown.
More on international news. Negotiations between the Taliban and the Afghan government are set to continue this month in Turkey. Whether or not they make a deal, the Taliban think they have the upper hand.
A Hong Kong court found prominent pro-democracy activists guilty of unauthorized assembly as part of a Beijing-led campaign to squash opposition.
Alexei Navalny, the imprisoned Russian opposition leader, declared a hunger strike, demanding better medical treatment.
And lastly, Mexico is struggling to deal with a new wave of migrants expelled from the U.S., while even more come north hoping to cross. Shelters that were empty 4 months ago are now having to turn many away. We really encourage you guys to do some real research about the border right now. If you don't know where to start, we recommend George Ventura at George Ventura TV on Instagram.
To end your news segment with some crazier stories. A train crashed in Taiwan, killing at least 36 people and injuring dozens of others. Tesla delivered 185,000 electric vehicles in the last quarter. That's double of the deliveries from last year.
U.S. producers made 3.4% more cardboard in 2020 than the previous year due to higher demand for shipping boxes. Might not sound like a lot, but that increase is equivalent to 477 square miles of corrugated board. Microsoft was awarded a Pentagon contract for its augmented reality headset that could be worth $21.9 billion over 10 years. And lastly, the U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments in its first case about the business of college sports in almost 40 years.
Now on to your weekend weather with Brandon.
Hey everybody, it's Brandon Miller back here with some more Pointer Pack News weather. Hope you guys are having a great Friday out there. High temperature today is going to be around 80 degrees, but we are looking at some chances of some thunderstorms later in the day. As we look at the weekend weather, both Saturday and Sunday are looking beautiful out there with sunny skies both days. Saturday, high temperature near 70 degrees, and then Sunday we warm up with a high temperature close to 80. As you look at next week's weather, our high temperatures for the week should be in the upper 60s and low 70s, but we are going to be seeing rain chances on Monday, Thursday, and Friday. As we look at the top weather story of the week, a Buddhist monk was saved from a North Thailand cave after being stuck for nearly 4 days. Heavy rain added up in the entrance of the cave, which led the man to seek higher ground until, of course, he was rescued. So that's going to do it. I'm Brandon Miller at Pointer Pack News Weather, signing off.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Pointer Pack News. Have a great weekend.